to my channel. So today's video is going to be my favorite drugstore highlighters, and I picked 5 of my favorite drugstore highlighters, and these are all super affordable. But what I really like about these highlighters is that they're not just highlighters, they actually like slay on your cheeks, if you know what I mean, and they just are so good. And I feel like a lot of these highlighters that I'm going to mention are so unrated. I don't really think I've heard anybody talk about any of these except for maybe like one of them. So I really wanted to show you guys, to come on camera and show you guys my favorite drugstore highlighters, because I know not everybody can afford the, you know, Champagne Pop by Jaclyn and Becca. So I really wanted to come on here and show you guys my favorite drugstore highlighters, which, if you guys don't know this about me, I don't know if you've realized in any of my tutorials, but I really don't use high-end makeup that much. I actually use mostly drugstore just because I feel like it's more affordable, and you guys really like when I do drugstore videos as well. So if you guys want to see my favorite drugstore highlighters, then please keep watching. The first one I want to talk about, I feel like everybody really talks about this on YouTube, and this is the one that I was mentioning at the beginning, is that this one, a lot of people talk about it, but I feel like it's still very unrated. This one is by the Balm Cosmetics, and this is the Mary Illuminizer, and you can pretty much get this anywhere. I know you can get it like online at the Balm Cosmetics. You can also get it at some drugstores. I think Ulta actually sells this. Where else do they sell this? I think Walgreens also sells the Balm Cosmetics. Actually, the Balm Cosmetics is going pretty much anywhere drugstore related. So I feel like you can really get your hands on this. It's only like, I think like $15-16, something like that. It is more pricier on the drugstore end, but I feel like this is such a good highlighter. Like, I love this highlighter, especially if you have pale skin like I do, or not pale, but like lighter skin like I do. I feel like this just looks really beautiful on the skin, and I love that this highlighter just looks so like wet and glazed on the cheeks, and it just really stands out. Like, anytime that I wear this, I always get compliments on what highlighter I'm wearing, because it's just so beautiful. I am going to show you guys the highlighter that I'm wearing today, which is very unrated. I feel like no one's talked about this, but yeah, this is a really good one, really affordable, and I feel like this one is also super pigmented. Like, you see that right there? It's super pigmented. I just slid my finger in there, and then there is a swatch of it right there. I really love, even if I don't use this on the cheeks, I love just putting it right here in the inner part of my eye, just to really brighten up my eyeshadow. I just think that it looks beautiful pretty much anywhere that you put it on the face. So I feel like this next highlighter, I feel like people did talk about this, but it's still very unrated. Like, a lot of people don't know about this highlighter, and as you guys can tell, I've used this so much. So this is actually the Wet n Wild highlighter, and this is the Precious Petal one. So they actually, I think, have like 3, and I believe they've actually come out with more, which I do want to purchase and show you guys some swatches of those. But this is the highlighter by Wet n Wild, like I said, in the color Precious Petal. Now, the colors between the Balm Cosmetic one and this one are kind of similar, to be honest, except the Wet n Wild one is a lot more golden than champagne. This one's more of a champagne light gold, and then this one is more of like a kind of like rose gold almost. But these are both very similar. The only thing I feel is that the Balm Cosmetic one is a little bit more pigmented. The Wet n Wild one, you do have to spray a little bit of Fix Plus, but it still looks very beautiful. I actually did a full drugstore video just using Wet n Wild, which I will link down below. That way you guys can see how this looks on the skin. But this one is still really pigmented and really pretty for the price. So this one is actually right there. So you can tell it's a lot more golden, almost like a pinky tone to it, rather than the one, the Balm Cosmetic one. But this one is still really pigmented, and I believe this is like $3.99 or $4.99, somewhere around there. And it's such a good highlighter. Like, Wet n Wild to me is one of my favorite brands, just because their lipsticks are good, their highlighters are good, concealers are good, their foundation is like bomb, and they're really up there in the drugstore game. So you guys really need to check out Wet n Wild if you don't already own some of their products. I definitely recommend getting this highlighter because your cheeks will glow. Like, you will see your your highlight in the dark with this. Okay, so the next one I'm going to talk about is the one that I'm actually wearing on my cheeks right now. So as you guys can tell, like, this looks like a very high-end highlighter, right? But it's actually not. And I actually discovered this one day. I was shopping for some Christmas presents, and I went to this store that I wouldn't think actually would even have makeup in there, but it's kind of like a almost like a Daiso, but with just accessories. Like, they have jewelry, they have purses, they have clothing, but more like purses and wallets and jewelry. And it's actually called Sam Moon here in Texas where I live. So I don't know if this store is like anywhere else, but it's kind of like an Asian based kind of store. But anyways, they had LA Girl cosmetics in there, and I like went crazy because I actually love their concealer from them. And when I saw this, I was like, it doesn't really look that pigmented, but they actually had like testers where you could swatch this, and this is in the color 50 watts, and I actually just used this in my last tutorial, and as you guys can see, I've been using it so much. But this is actually the highlighter that I'm wearing right now, and as you can tell, like, it looks like a very high-end highlighter. Like, it looks just wet and like glazed on the cheeks, and I just have been obsessing over this highlighter. Like, ever since I've gotten it, I cannot put it down. I just think it looks so beautiful and so pigmented for the price. I think these were $4.99, super cheap, and I feel like the packaging is even cute. Like, it's gold, and the product that actually comes in here seems like there's a decent amount of product for the price. So I mean, you don't have to go out and get a high-end highlighter just for your highlight to stand out. Actually, let me give you guys a swatch of this. So this one is right here. It's actually, now that I have it side by side by the Wet n Wild one, it's actually almost the same color, except this one looks more like a peach highlighter, and this one is definitely a lot more gold. But they do look really similar, but this one has to be the most pigmented one that I own. The next highlighter I want to talk about, I feel like this highlighter is not mentioned at all on YouTube. I've only seen like a couple of people mention this highlighter, but I did go out and buy it because I really wanted to try it out, because for one, it just looks very beautiful in the pan. But this one is the e.l.f. highlighter, and this one actually does not have a shade on here. I've tried looking for the shade and it doesn't have the shade on here, but I believe if you go to the any store where they sell e.l.f., there's only 3 of them. One of them is a very light gold, and then this one is kind of like a peachy gold, and then there's also one that's like almost like bronze. This one I believe is the middle shade, but this one is very beautiful. If you guys can see a pattern here, I normally like to go with like champagne golds because I feel like that's just what looks best on my skin, but I've actually used a lot of these highlighters in my freelance kit as well, and they go with a lot of other skin tones, so definitely don't be discouraged with the shades that I'm showing you guys. But yeah, this one is the e.l.f. one. This one is really pretty as well. This one definitely isn't as pigmented as the rest, but it's still a really good highlighter. But I do feel like you do have to kind of build this one up. But this one still looks really pretty. This one actually looks the most natural out of all of them. So if you're not really into those really blingy highlight, then definitely go for the e.l.f. one, because it still has good color payoff, but it's not going to be like, you know, so pigmented as the other ones. But you definitely can build it up to be, if you really want to. You can just spray some Fix Plus on your brush and then go into the pan, and it will be as blingy as the rest. So the next and last highlighter that I have to show you guys is kind of like a base for highlight, or you can even top it off with this as well. But this is by NYX Cosmetics, and this is the color Born to Glow liquid highlighter, and this is in the color Cream 02, and this one is a golden kind of based liquid highlight. I like wearing this on its own, but I also like topping my highlight with this as well, and I think that this one is just so beautiful, but it does kind of give you more of a different shade. So it looks like it would be really dark for my skin tone, but it's actually not. I take a little bit, like a little drop, and I kind of just add it there, and I throw my highlight right on top, and I swear to you guys, my highlight is like bam, like in your face. But I normally don't like to do that unless it's like summertime is when I really like to add a base to my highlight. But still on its own, this one is very beautiful. They actually have 2 shades of this, which I do have both, but this one's my favorite. I actually like using this as an eyeshadow as well in the summertime, and I just think that this is a really good liquid highlight. Like if you have really dry skin and you just want your skin to be like super glowy, then definitely put this one on your cheeks and blend it out, and then put highlight on top of it or even on its own, and I swear it would look beautiful on you. Do you want to say hi to my video? Because I'm actually filming right now.
Yes, oh my god, oh my god, I'm on the phone with a celebrity right now. Oh my gosh. Hello, Lexi's YouTube. Subscribe to her channel before you leave because she's freaking awesome.
Okay, I'll definitely make sure to put it in my video.
Oh, I'm excited. Like, okay, oh my gosh, I felt like
I totally forgot what I was saying. Anyways, but yeah, those are the highlighters that I do recommend for you guys, and like I said, you can find any of these highlighters pretty much anywhere in the drugstore, so I definitely recommend you going to your local drugstore and picking some up. Like I said, you don't have to spend, you know, $45, $35 on a highlighter just so your highlight could be blinging. You can definitely go to the drugstore and get almost the same exact thing for way cheaper. But that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys really enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to give this video a huge thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit the little bell down below. That way you guys can be notified every single time I upload. I do upload Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. so make sure that you guys do stay subscribed to my channel or hit the notification. That way you can be updated anytime that I post and for future videos. Don't forget to check out all my social media to stay connected with me, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!